Hey y'all, how's it going? Welcome back to the Musicians Talk podcast. Um, I have with me today a very special guest. I'm very excited. It's me own mama. It's my mother. Mom, go ahead and give them your name, where you're from, and we'll get this going here.
Okay, well, my name's Crystal.
Crystal
And-
Light, like the drink.
Yes, Crystal Light, like the drink. I get comments on it all the time. I'm from Southern Illinois, but I live in Dixon, Missouri with my husband, Tim, and just moved up there 4 years ago. And I love it. I come back home once, twice a year to see everybody, and
Get to see
especially
me.
during the summer. Yeah, get to see Levi.
Yeah,
during
get
the
to see
summer.
Levi. Absolutely. So you work in childcare. You've been in
Yes.
childcare for a long time. Tell us a little bit just about your experience, how long you've been doing it.
Okay, well, I've been in early childhood education field for 32 years. This May of 27 will be 33 years. I've worked in daycares all over Southern Illinois, so a lot of them should know me. I've worked with a lot of good people over the years, and currently I work for Missouri Ozarks Community Action, which is MOCA Head Start.
Gotcha.
They're funded or their main building's in Richland, but I work in Rolla, and I am a lead teacher there. I teach ages 3 to 5, and this will be my 4th year going with them.
Wow. For those of you keeping count, that's longer than I've been alive. She's been doing this ever since I was a kid. I didn't feel the need to have a notebook or anything today just because it's my mom. So I really have all the questions in mind that I want to ask you. So you you taught me how to play. How long have you been playing music?
Actually, when I started in college for my associate's degree, we had to take a music course because back then the daycares would have pianos or keyboards in the classroom for music time.
Right.
So the course that we had to take was just the beginnings, learning the chords. And then you learn how to play Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, or, you know, and then being in church. And then I moved up and started learning over. You're still a better player than I am.
Oh, I don't. We'll get into that here in a little bit. But, yeah, I had a buddy of mine, Joby, on the first episode, and he talked about how when he was learning how to play guitar, that he wanted to teach him like Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. The guy that was teaching him, he's like, dude, I want to play Haggard and Jones.
Yeah.
you know. So I thought that was really. It's like you don't want to. You have to start somewhere, and I understand that. You have to get your start. I mean, when I first started picking up the guitar, I sat on the front pew of the church and learned how to play from them. And they wrote my chord charts, and that's how I learned. You know, it's one step at a time. So you do start out learning little things like that. I think when I first picked it up, I was just picking strings, and I was like, oh, that kind of sounds, it kind of sounds like it's all right. But so obviously, you love children, you love working with children and educating them. How does music help in the educational field when it comes to children? Do you find that a lot of kids respond well to music?
A lot of kids respond very well to music because during transition times from one time to another, we'll sing a song to clean up or we'll play. Kids love music.
Yeah, it's
and they learn by music.
Right.
You learned better if we put things to a song than it was to just tell you different rules. So if you can put things to a song, then it makes everything go better. And kids like to dance and be silly. And when they see the teacher up there dancing with them and doing the moves and being silly, it just gives a better bonding moment.
Yeah, I know I can remember from being in school that, if I put things to a song, that it was easier for me to memorize things. Like there's a poem called "The Wreck of the Zephyr," and I put it to the music of "The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald," and for hours on end, I went back rereading and relearning like they were verses to a song, and I actually performed it in front of the class, and I got almost all the way through the whole thing. It's a large poem. It's a really long poem. But I found that if I was able to put things to music, if I were able to make a song out of it in my head, then it was easier for me to understand and break down. And
Oh yeah, definitely, because it's putting something they'll remember the tune or they'll
right,
remember the melody so they
right,
can just put the words in it. Like even when I'm teaching their song, their colors, red, red, I can spell red. I can spell red. Fire trucks are red. Stop signs are red too. Red. Red. It's just simple stuff. But I've been
yeah,
singing to you and Elizabeth ever since you were
right.
babies. We always
Obviously,
had
yeah.
that nighttime routine.
Hmm.
Music was always a part of our
Yeah,
life.
yeah. I think that's where I draw a lot of my inspiration and a lot of my influences is from my roots, especially in Southern gospel, and obviously I had country music, you know, flowing through my veins to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Southern gospel stuff. So when did you start playing in church?
I started playing in church when let's see, I started on the organ.
Hmm.
And I feel more comfortable on the organ or a keyboard because I can't do all the actual fill-ins. I can do it by ear, but I just can't, so I feel more comfortable to where I don't have to
You just play straight rhythm,
play
straight
straight rhythm.
chords,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
things like
But I
that.
think I started that in 1993 when I started at Glad Tidings Church in 1993. They would let me, they didn't have an organ player at that time, so they would let me, the piano, the lady on the piano, she would give me a key and we'd just go with it.
What was
And
her name?
um,
You remember?
I do not. Her last name is Todd. I do know that.
Gotcha.
I think it's Brother Jason Todd. It's one of his aunts,
Gotcha.
and I cannot remember her name.
Gotcha. Yeah, no. There's especially in the church world, there are some really great musicians
Yes.
that you're never even going to know about them
Yeah.
because they're in the church world,
Yeah.
you know, and that's kind of why I wanted to bring you on, because you have a little bit more experience on that on the platform side of things
Yes.
as opposed to in secular music and playing restaurants and other
Yeah.
venues like that, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously I've played in church. You started us playing in church. Um and singing in church when, I don't know, I was probably 8, 9, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, what what do you think the main difference is? Obviously, you're playing gospel music.
Right.
What do you think the main difference is in how you would prepare, quote unquote, a set,
Yeah.
or versus someone who's playing in a restaurant or a bar or a venue?
Well, I think it's the same thing. You kind of have to get the mind of God or what you think God is going to want you to play that night for that service. That's how I do it. Even today, I do the congregational part at the church that I attend, and I still have to pray about it and get the mindset of
Right.
where God wants it to be.
Right.
And just for instance, last week, the power of God was so strong before I even got up there. I didn't know which way to go. I was lost. So I was trying to listen to God
Yeah.
instead of, I can pick these songs because I think they have a way to do it. But
Right.
if the spirits go in a different way, I try to follow God as much as possible. So, you always have to practice and have a set or be
Yeah.
lined up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, in your instance, you can just fly right through them. But if I feel like God's leading somewhere else, I'm going to go somewhere else.
Yeah. If I don't know, I would always have, my 3 or 4 songs that I was going to do that
Mhm.
morning, and I just have them ready to go and knew where I was going to go in my notebook. And
Right.
I took old songs that I should know by heart and just wrote them down just
Yeah.
in case I missed one of those 15 verses that's in How Great Thou Art or something,
Yeah.
But I know that it's a very different experience because I've been on both sides of it. I know that it's a very different experience being in a restaurant than it is being in a, being in a church setting.
Right.
When did I remember there's being something about you were with a quartet or
I was with
choir?
a quartet
Yeah.
for a while. Let's see. I started in children's church choir when I was in kindergarten. because I was attending the Christian school for 13th and Gravois. So they let me be in the children's church choir. And that's where it kind of, for me, music really
That's what I was
took
wanting
off.
to get
I
to.
was kind of, oh, yeah, I want to be up here one day, or I want to be the one doing the solos, or I want to be, you know. So that's where it kind of just took off. And then from there, I mean, from the age 9, I've been doing solos at church from 9, and I'm 52. So,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And I've been praise and worship leader several times. I've been just on the praise team. I've been just the only one, you know. I've had a lot of different experiences in that role in the church, and whatever I can do to
be a help.
Be a help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what is obviously when you're playing with a group, it's going to be much different than if you're just by yourself.
It is
I always
different
have
when
issues with that. It's like I'm the only one playing. What am I supposed to do?
Well, I didn't play with the group. I just sang.
Right.
So, but it is different. I always wanted to be in a quartet. You know, I just always dreamed of that. And when I was growing up, it was the Hensons and the Nealons and Lester Goodman. You know, Besto and Lester Goodman. So I just always wanted that, and I longed for that. Well, the opportunity came when I was able to sub for a quartet.
Right.
And it was different because, you know, you have to practice. If you're in a group or a band or whatever, you have to practice.
Yeah, band practice is going to happen whether it's secular or religious.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You know, and even if you're in a choir, normally half the time there's, you know, you have to have rehearsal. You have choir rehearsal or whatever.
Right.
Or if you're on a praise and worship team, sometimes they'll set a week aside to go over the set for Sunday that, you know, that's already there or whatever. So I've just always, you know, you always got to practice and be in mind. But I think being in a group is a lot different than just, you know, winging it on your own.
It's a whole different thing too, even from having a band. And it's like everyone has an opinion on the set. Everyone has an opinion on what songs we're going to do. It's not just me. Like I'm not just the one picking that.
Right.
That I have a lot to do with it because I'm the one sitting down with the notebook and actually putting pen to paper and figuring out, okay, which of my originals are we going to throw in? Which of the covers are we going to throw in? I have found that it's harder to write an original Christian song than it is to write an original secular song.
Well,
I've wrote one gospel song.
I think to write a gospel song, it has to really be from the heart.
Yeah.
It just has to. And I mean, you can make up a country song
about anything.
Trucks, trains, whatever. But, you know, to
David
make
it.
But to write a gospel song, I think it really has to come from the depths of your heart when you were in your hardest moment, reaching out to God to save you from the, you know. And Christian songs are just more difficult. They're not more difficult. They just take a lot more time.
Right.
I mean, unless you're really in the pits of hell, you know, wanting God to save you, or even if you're so broken, you don't know what to do, and He's the only answer. I mean, that's really the only way that you're going to get a good Christian, a good gospel song.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think sometimes I look at it, especially nowadays, like there's these cookie cutter gospel songs where it's just like it's all the same. They each come out the same.
There's a lot of
4 hallelujahs and 2 bridges, and
those are called the 7-11 songs.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Same 7 words 11 times. Yeah. I like praise and worship music though, but there is a lot that,
especially nowadays.
Yeah, nowadays. Because that's the thing. They're not doing it from their heart. I mean, what are you going to do? Sing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't feel like those songs are from their heart.
And there's a lot of them. It's like, this is my, and I don't mean to put anybody down. Anybody who's doing it way better than me, making way more money than I am, doing way better than I am by every possible imagination. It's just, it seems like it's become more of a show for entertainment than it has to be something that is straight down the middle. This is a worship show. It's not a concert. It's not, it shouldn't be.
Well, it shouldn't even be a show.
Yeah, exactly.
It should not be a show.
It just.
I mean, you've got a lot of people who have the fog machines and the bright
the
lights and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess for that church, if that works, then okay. But to me, God is the most powerful thing there. You're not going to outshow God anyway.
Right.
So sometimes I think people do that to put on a show.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I think
look
a lot
at
of
me.
churches
I'm
are,
on the look at me. I'm on the platform. I can do that. You know,
Right.
and I don't do that. In fact, I've told my pastor, Brother Gary Teague, many times, if I'm ever the issue of something on the platform, I will sit down.
Right.
You can set me down. I'll sit down. I don't have to be on that platform.
Right.
I do not have to be. In fact, I never thought I would be, to be honest with
Right.
you. We went to church the first Sunday we went, it was like a special singing Sunday.
Yeah.
So the pastor had asked if there was anybody else that liked to sing. Well, Tim
Volunteered
me immediately. And after that, I was pretty much on the platform and have been ever since.
Right.
But I've always told the pastor if there's anything, I mean, I will sit down. I don't have to be up there to worship God.
Right. And
That's not my thing.
You've been in other positions too, as far as music director and things like that. So what is it, the difference as far as directing versus actually just being in the praise and worship and being a singer or a piano player?
Well, the music director, which I love ours, she has such a heart of God. She is the same way. She prays about the set that she's going to do for the week. And
Right.
everything is done with kindness and love. I think as a music director, you do have a little bit more responsibility because it's like the same as a leader in a group. You're the one coming up with the set. You're trying to figure out
Right.
what's going to work. And then issues arise that have to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And those are hard issues to deal with. So they have to be handled with a lot of prayer and grace and, you know. But
Such as like sitting somebody down or
sitting somebody down, or if, you know, someone is trying to, I've never had to sit anybody down. I
Right.
wouldn't go that far.
right.
To
Talk
me,
to
that's
pastor
we
first,
talk to the
yeah.
pastor, yeah. And to me, that's the pastor's responsibility.
Right.
But I think the music director and the pastor go hand in hand, because if she says, hey,
This
we've
is
got
an
this issue
Yeah.
going on, then him and her will talk about it together, discuss the, you know, steps to take and stuff, but to do it in a loving way
Right.
to where it's not.
You're not hurting them. You're just
Right.
you're trying to help them.
Yeah, because you never want to discourage anybody or
Right.
make them mad and then walk
Right.
out of the church, you
And
know.
you've been, and that's the other point I was going to get to, is you've been the target of that before too.
I have, yeah.
So we all know, if you've been in the church world to begin with, there's any church you go to, there's a potential, to be hurt by the church and
Yeah.
and for things to not go exactly how you went. I thought that was kind of a lot of my issue with it. Not that I have an issue with my relationship with God, but that I have an issue with a lot of church. And anymore, it's like I see less and less homegrown, hometown churches
Mhm.
and more mega churches. And it's like it takes the whole experience out of it for me. You know?
Well, that's why where I go, it's just a small,
Right.
and I prefer, we've been in the bigger churches, and I prefer the smaller churches
Right.
where everybody knows everybody, and they actually have that connection and that
Right.
love and friendship for
It's
one
more
another.
of a family.
Yeah,
than it
it's
is
more of a
just
family.
Everybody gathering on
Yeah.
Sunday.
And you don't have, where you're trying to,
Yeah.
because on the platform, I think people have, being on the platform, there's set standards for certain things,
Yeah,
like you have
absolutely.
to, and
You live in a glass house.
you
just
live
the
in a glass
same-
house,
same
and
as
you
the
have to
pastor
be,
does.
yeah. Well, I'm on a platform, and I can't be walking around to 100 people just to shake their hands and,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, even we would love a great amount, a bigger amount,
Mhm.
and whatever comes. And I know the church I go to is so loving. They, they just, the day we walked in, they treated me like a princess. So, I
Right.
mean, they were just so warm and
Yeah.
welcoming and loving. And you've been there.
I've had churches
Yeah.
like that, and I've been there.
You've been there.
Very, very welcoming. Very,
Yeah.
make you feel at home.
Yeah.
So you said you started playing piano in college. You've been playing for 30-something years?
Yeah.
That's wild. So what have you learned with working with different people in different groups? What have you learned as far as, you're just showing up on time and making sure that you're prepared, and, your experience as far as working with, were there some groups that were better and some groups that were worse?
Well, I'm not going to go there. Honestly,
names,
I know, but for example, being in a quartet,
mm-hmm.
it's kind of difficult because you basically, this is a set we're doing, whether God is going to move a different way or not. This is the absolute set that we're doing.
Right.
There's no change. And I think a lot of that is probably in a lot of Christian music, but when you have Southern music,
mm-hmm.
Southern gospel music, I think a lot of that, okay, guys, we're doing this set tonight, and that's what we're going to do, and we call it a show, we do it, call it a show and go, because a lot of their music, unfortunately, is now recorded because, having people that play the instruments and carrying instruments, you know how expensive all that stuff is.
Yeah.
So now a lot of groups are doing everything recorded.
Gotcha. You're not bringing the band.
You're not bringing the band with you. It's just the group. So you're going to have to go by whatever you've got set up
on a CD,
CD for the night, or however they do it.
That's
when I was growing up, it was a whole band. I mean, and everywhere you went, the band went with you. Yeah. So I think a lot of has changed in that way. Which is really kind of sad. However, the Magruders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my! I want to. They were my favorite all time.
Yeah.
And now, when the Magruders did end up starting to use the recorded music, I seen a video of Sister Magruder doing a song from Heaven's Point of View.
Yeah.
The song would be over, but the Spirit was moving so mightily that she would tell them to restart the song again and restart the song again. And man, what a Spirit! What a presence.
Any video you watch her, she's just outstanding, and as far as leading.
Yeah,
and
she didn't
that
stop.
Presence move.
Yeah, she was not going to stop it. She knew what it was. She was going to. She wasn't going to stop it. She was going to let it go. Yeah,
I think they were one of the ones, like, you look at them versus the Gaithers, or even, and don't get me wrong, I love the Crab Family. I love Ernie Haas and Signature Sound. I still love all those guys. But you could definitely tell a difference in what they brought on stage versus what. It's not that it wasn't any more spectacular musically.
Right.
When you just break it down, you just break it down to the music.
Right.
Instruments, fantastic. Vocals, fantastic. Harmonies, fantastic. But there was just something different about watching her, and you could be watching a YouTube video and you could feel it.
Yeah.
You could really feel what was going on in that room. And it's like, if you have something like that, excuse me, that sort of transcends time a little bit, that it can go years and 30 or 40 years later, and people can still watch this video and still feel that Spirit.
Absolutely.
It's a whole different
Sister Nancy Greenquist. I followed her a lot and done a lot of her songs. And, she recently passed, which shocked me. Yeah, she recently passed.
Wow.
Just woke up. Her husband woke up one morning and she was no longer with us. Yeah. And her songs, oh my gosh, you could feel
I can remember. You can feel the Holy Ghost in this.
Yeah, I've seen a few of hers. Those, I think there's a difference, and I'm not going to say religion or denomination,
right?
But I think there is really a difference.
Well, and even they had different standards. You could see from what we grew up with.
But I think in the music world, I think it's just, hey, let's start a quartet or let's start a group.
It has nothing to do with
they don't even write their own music. I mean, now the Hempfills, all of them from back when I was growing up, the Lesters, they wrote their own music, or you had one member of the group writing the music.
Right.
Well, that's how all these other groups got started, is they would just follow, these people write the songs for them.
Yeah.
So again, it's not a heartfelt song. It's not something they came up with because somebody else wrote it for them, and you can just sing it,
It's not necessarily, well, and this is my thing too. Like we do all kind, especially, well, if we're in church, for example. I mean, we still do Crab Family songs.
Right.
We still do Gaither songs.
Right.
We still do Signature Sound songs.
Right.
And Legacy 5 and
Right.
all of those guys. They didn't write them either, and we didn't write them.
Yeah.
But we can still sing them with the same fervency that we did with, songs that we would have wrote ourselves.
Right.
We can still sing them with the same. And I think that just kind of songwriting, Bill and Gloria Gaither wrote how many?
A lot.
Hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds of.
Yeah.
And even those, it's like, you can kind of go back and look at a few of them. It just sounds like the last 75 that you
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it just depends. I mean, you can sing anything, really. I mean, I can make a difference just singing out of the songbook like I do every
Right.
Sunday,
Right.
I mean, I think
Exactly.
it just depends on how you feel
Yeah.
about the actual
Yeah.
song that you're singing,
Yeah.
to be honest.
And I mean, there's a couple gospel songs that I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so slow.
Right.
There's nothing.
You can always speed up a
It's-
gospel
oh my
song some
goodness.
way, but
But and then there's some of them that it's like the Anchor Holds or Through the Fire or some of those. Those are still really deep even to me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know that I've kind of gone away from it a little bit, but I'll still sit in there on the piano and still
Yeah.
play. That's pretty well all I can play on the piano. I've tried, Jerry Lee Lewis stuff, and I
Yeah,
just can't.
well,
do it. I
yeah.
just can't do it. I practice every day with that kind of stuff. Like the boogie.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
tried and tried and tried to get that right. I just
Yeah.
cannot. I can't keep because what happens is your left hand and your right hand are doing two different things at
Right.
the same time. So you have to be focused. It's like
It's
focusing
hard to
on,
be focused
yeah.
on. And then
like-
think about when he sang it too at the
Yeah,
same
you're
time, and he's
singing
not paying
and all
attention,
over
and his hands are just going all over the place, not
Yeah.
even paying attention.
Yeah, I think
Of course,
a
the
lot
good
of
thing with
people-
stuff like that is if you mess up, nobody's going to know except you.
right?
I mean, even when I
Right.
play at church, I have a tendency, though, I want to stop the music, and I know you cannot stop the
No.
music if you mess up,
No,
but that's just me. I know I messed up, and then I feel bad,
yeah.
because
You may stop playing, but you have the band to cover you still.
right,
Like you still have the guitar and the drummer and the bass player
Right.
and stuff like that going.
yeah,
So if you mess up and you need to stop, you
Yeah.
can fall out in a band setting. If
yeah.
you're doing it by yourself, you definitely can't stop,
Yeah.
even if you did mess up. You
Well, I
have to
mean,
keep-
even I have the other, the other players on it. We got the drum player on the platform and steel guitar and
Yeah.
guitars. But a couple weeks ago, I was singing and I had practiced that song. I knew what I was doing, what key, everything.
Yeah.
I get up there and for whatever reason, my mind just goes blank.
Mhm.
And I start out in the wrong key to begin with. And then I just mess up and I went, wait, stop. I just stopped. I was like,
It's one
let's
thing. if
try
you-
this again.
Yeah, it's one thing if you, especially if you start out in the wrong key, because it's like I'm not gonna butcher your ears just trying to
Right,
get through
yeah.
this. It's like I'll restart the whole thing and go. But
Yeah.
there have been times where I did that, but especially like a live show or a live,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, just keep going.
Yeah.
We'll get through it the best we can. Just keep going.
Well, that's what Tim says. Nobody noticed. No, but I noticed. But when I
Right.
stop a song, everybody's going to notice
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
but that's
everybody's
okay,
gonna start.
I don't want to. And then I don't want to try to find the key where I need to be while everybody else is playing in the original key that I told them, and I'm
Mhm.
trying to play around and find the right.
find out where
yeah.
you're gonna be
Yeah,
at.
it's
Yeah.
kind of hard.
So I know a lot of people, they try to like memorize the keyboard, and I do to an extent. Like I can close my eyes and put my fingers on G,
Right.
or I can close my eyes and put my
Well,
fingers on
yeah.
C. There's those things, but when it comes to like your runs and your flourishes
Yeah.
and your slips and things, that's one of the biggest things. So in country music, there's a lot of slips on the piano,
Mhm.
and I like that sound. I just can't. I don't know what notes to connect to make
connect.
that slip.
Yeah.
But as far as, I mean, you taught me, and I don't think I ever remember hearing a screw up, hearing a fault, it's like you just played it straightforward, and it was one of the easiest things to listen to. And I think I learned a lot from that growing up, because I would watch you and I would watch you over and over and over again. And then I finally got a keyboard and I'd start practicing, and just with these 3 fingers is all I knew. But it gave me a lot of inspiration too, because it's like I would listen to you sit down in the bedroom with your piano and just go over your songs and go over and then to see your binder full of
I have 2 of them now, full of the big
full of music.
I have 2 of them now.
I write everything down in notebooks. She's got a binder like that big. I mean, it's thick.
Well, the good thing with that is we have technology now.
Right.
So there's those apps that you can go and, download songs from, and, with the lyrics, the chords, everything there with you. So,
do it a little bit
easy. It's
now.
a little bit, and I'm still learning that.
You got with the times a little bit.
I got with the times a little bit. I'm still learning it, but because I still take the notebook no matter what. But then the last time I had the notebook, it completely fell apart on the.
Oh wow! Well, I was just getting ready to say, like, you're on everybody loves technology until the battery dies or the Wi-Fi's out. Or it's like that's why I always stuck with the notebook, is because I know that it's right there.
It's going to be there.
But then again, if it falls apart again.
Yeah, everything just like came out. The whole middle half of the book just came out. We do live streams for church, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
So the technology I'm learning more about.
Yeah.
I do take my tablet. I make sure it's completely charged. I make sure it's hooked to the church's internet, or I have it, so it's on there. But I just make sure. Now, Sister Connie, our praise and worship leader or our music director, she has a tablet that she uses. So
I think everybody's going to that.
I think it is too. It's easier.
This is my thing. So, small time performances. You're playing at the local bar or restaurant down the street. I don't see anything wrong with people using cell phones and tablets, especially to remember lyrics. It's like not everybody can remember 3 hours worth of music off the top of their head.
Right.
I don't get it right. I still mess up lyrics. I try to pick songs that I've done about 1,000,000 times. That way I know that I don't forget the lyrics, even if I'm not using a phone. I have nothing against that whatsoever. Not a single thing.
Right.
I feel like, bigger shows, though, if you're playing Heron Fest or DeQueen State Fair,
right.
Like I wouldn't want to be, me personally, I wouldn't want to be seen, on that stage with a tablet. That's a lot of guys, even, they have monitors now that look like wedge monitors just on stage.
Yeah.
And it's a screen and it gives you your lyrics.
Well, sometimes those screens don't move as quickly. It depends on the operator of the screen to make sure that the words are going to be up there when you need them. I've ran into a few of those issues at
when the
churches.
big thing was projectors and the screens were on the screens were on the projector, and then you got Elizabeth sitting back there running the